Welcome back to Cephas Unscripted, episode 150, Brett, on the dot. No Brevan, we wish him the best of luck. He's studying for his final exams. Then he fully steps into the work life. So yeah, he's just prioritizing a bit. But Brett, back on the podcast. You didn't have your say. First and foremost, before you talk about the game, how are you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm feeling amazing. I'm very happy to be back. Kind of wish I was still where I was, but not going to get into that in detail. But sorry, no, happy to be back.
Yeah. Anyway, let's quickly talk about the game against Scotland with you, because obviously myself and Brevan, we had our thoughts on the game. But let's start even before the game, right? Just so you can share your opinions, because we're going to do a predicted lineup today for our game against England. But yeah, give Brett the opportunity to have his say. When you saw the lineup coming out from Rassie, 7-1 split, the Lucy's unrecognizable nearly. What was your first or your initial thoughts on the lineup?
So first, I was disappointed, but I've learned to not be disappointed when Rassie has a plan. Rassie has a plan. Then I started getting excited when I saw the 7-1 split. Because that image of 7 forwards going onto the field at the exact same time, that for me is just pissing off a lot of people, and that just makes me happy. But then again, Kwacha that played his 50th test, we've said this a million times, he's not a starting player, and he just proved it once again. Every time he starts, we have the same conversation where we say, Kwacha should not start. He's not a good starting player. And it just showed. I think that's a 50th test that any player in the world would want to forget as quick as they can. By saying that, I'd be very surprised if he gets awarded another chance in the Springbok jersey against England after that performance.
Even from the bench?
Even from the bench. Why are you still awarding a guy Springbok cap? The same thing that happened to Marco van Staden. When he played like dog shit, we didn't see him for 3 tests. So
yeah.
I can't.
I don't expect to see Marco van Staden anytime soon after that performance either.
Yeah, he was quiet. I felt like he still made his tackles, which he failed to do the last time he played, but it wasn't those big demanding tackles that he normally put in. I think he was scared of having another poor performance, that he just played it safe.
Yeah, and then the knock-ons, I just can't. I just can't deal with that amount of knock-ons. Lukanya the first 4 times he touched the ball, I think all of them were knocks. It was ridiculous. Yeah, so let's move on to the performance, because I already gave my opinions. I'm not a fan of the 7-1 split at all. Obviously I like it for banter, and we talk a bit of shit when it comes to Mr. Williams from Scotland. Obviously that is nice, but overall I'm not a fan of the 7-1. I like the fact that the 6-2 is our thing. That is our thing. Stick with it, because we cover all the bases. Because the 7-1 backfired a bit, which meant we had to play Jaden Hendrickson for 68 minutes, which burned my eyes. It literally burned my eyes. I don't like piling down on a guy, but he did himself no favors, right? And we pride ourselves on this podcast, or whatever you want to call this thing, on speaking our mind and speaking what we feel. And listen, he had a disastrous game. Disastrous. Basically on the same level as Kwacha, but he played longer than Kwacha. So
yes, this is the Jaden Hendrickson that made me doubt him ever being selected in the first place. He came on all casual. He was so slow at the rucks. He would pick up and just pass, and he put his hands on the ball, and all the Scots had to do is push the guy forward so he can knock the ball, because he's careless.
Too many times.
He's careless, and you can see it. He is careless. I don't understand what Rassie is doing by selecting him. I miss Faf if Jaden's on the field, and everyone knows how I feel about Faf.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, right? I don't want to judge Rassi or anything, but don't you think like sometimes it feels like he's a bit stubborn? You know, I feel that this favorite squad, I really feel like there is a bit of favoritism when it comes to the Springboks. If Faf wasn't injured, I get the feeling that we would have seen Jaden Henriksen and Faf de Klerk as our two scrum offs.
Yeah.
And I'm not even joking. Just think about how
Okay.
scary that would be.
No, I agree. At
Because
least with
it still doesn't make any sense to me how we can play Scotland and not have Mani Lebok on the field. Like literally the team that leaves open the most gaps in the field for you to run into. Look at every time we play the backline in this game. I'm no expert, right? But every time it looked like we played the backline, we made some heavy meters. Now imagine if you had Mani Lebok there. He would unlock that defense as if like it's nothing. Like it's nothing.
Especially with Willie Leroux and the way he played. Because you could go one side with Mani Lebok and the other side with Willie Leroux.
Yeah.
And you know that you have to cover all bases right next to Willie Leroux because he'll just give the pop pass to the gap. Or he's going to do that sneaky little left-footed kick. And did you see he kicked right-footed as well? Gave a right-footed grubber. That's Willie Leroux.
Willie's next level.
He is so good. Oh, my word. That guy's rugby.
Willie is what people think Fraud Russell is. I'm not even kidding. Literally. And the interchanging between Mani and Willie is sensational. Like we've seen it a couple of times and it's absolutely brilliant. It just makes no sense to me. Like I'm not trying to get onto Russia or anything. Like obviously he knows everyone better than us. But it's like it feels like glaring stuff. Like it just feels so obvious that it feels like there's a bit of favoritism going on with a lot of these players. So I mean, it is what it is. What was your thoughts on the game and the way that we played overall before we actually do our predicted lineup?
No, I felt like we played horrible rugby. I think that was our worst game of the year. We lost 2 games this year, but this was our worst game. Our game against Ireland, the second test in Durban, was close to this performance of being shit, but this was proper. This was horrible.
But that was only one half of shitness. This was like full on 70 minutes of terrible rugby.
Exactly. And I must say, the disallowed Scotland try was a beautiful try. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was such a good, well-worked move. And Hugh Jones, the second the ref called him back, the camera looked at him and he just went like this. He knew I knocked a ball. I've been caught out. But Hugh Jones as well, he was phenomenal. I think at that one stage he broke 7 tackles, almost scored, which is not good.
How many of those were Pollard's missed tackles? Because he loves missing a tackle, and he loved missing a tackle once again.
Yeah, besides that, there was a headshot. I don't know if you guys spoke about this.
Yeah, we did,
Yeah, Pollard got hits on the side of his head. That should have been a straight red because that person wasn't part of the ruck. He wasn't part of the clean out. He just came in and hit Pollard with the head. Straight red.
It was craziness. The TMO didn't have a great game. Because I'm not going to blame that on the ref, right? Like, sometimes the ref's going to pick up on it. Sometimes he's not, right? But that's the TMO's job to watch that. It's the same with the red card.
The red card.
Wow. Terrible decision.
I hate that it happened against South Africa because this is a thing that we complain about all the time.
Yeah.
And it happened against South Africa. Scotland should be livid with that decision.
But at least we're all calling it out, right? Because we can all admit that takes away from the game. At least it's the 20-minute red card. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for the 20-minute red card. I don't care what people are like, well, the 20-minute red card invites more dangerous play. Are you mad? Like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Most of the red cards that you see these days are anyway just like rugby collisions, like an accident that happens. You get that guy off, he doesn't get back onto the field, right? So you're still punishing the team for 20 minutes that you have to play with 14 guys, have to bring up a sub early onto the field. I mean, that is punishment enough. Seriously. Anyway, I agree with you that we weren't great. But obviously you can look at it the other way where it's like sometimes the good teams know how to win big when they play bad, right? Because we still got a victory with 17 points. We'll take it. We'll move on to England. Let's actually go into today's video. Going to do a little predicted lineup. It's going to be interesting because Rossi can decide to be a bit funny. You can throw a little spanner in the works. I don't think we'll agree. I don't think me and you will agree on a lot. I think we'll get the basics, but I think there's crucial things that we will disagree on. Because you probably saw my other social media post, but I've changed it a bit now because I've thought about it a bit more.
Yeah. Obviously, I saw it because I commented on it.
I know. Anyway, Oxenche, Bonge Manambi, Thomas du Toit.
Yes, there I completely agree. I felt like Thomas du Toit cemented his spot in the team, and the fact that he's playing against all his Premiership teammates and opposition, I think he thoroughly deserves to start. I do, however, feel sorry for Vincent Koch because he also deserves a start. But then again, we have certain players that are so good on the bench because you're not a bench player anymore. You're just the next half of the game player.
Yeah, it's part of your role.
Yes. And yeah, Vincent Koch he's so good off the bench.
Yeah, he'll play the same amount of minutes as Thomas du Toit, whether he starts or comes from the bench, really. So, yeah, I don't actually feel sorry for him because it's like, it's your role. It's you just go there. I've seen a couple of people call for Volkolo. You're not playing Volkolo, sorry. Thomas du Toit, he was sensational. As you just mentioned, playing against his Prem guys, he'll get it done. I'm not sure. Was Franco Mostert taken off for precaution just to kind of save him?
Yeah, Franco is fine. He literally was always only going to play a half, whether it was starting or benching, just to see where he is in his. Yeah, and he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad, but he's definitely not playing against England, in my opinion. I feel like Archie is starting next to Yevon.
I don't have it like that.
What do you have it as?
I've also switched because I'm not sure on Franco Mostert whether he's fine or not. And this has just confirmed it for me, the fact that you said that. Do you have like a bit of... Did they say that he's not playing against England?
No, I have no inside information. This is just my gut feel because I'm seeing it as myself. Like if I come back from injury and I'm into the starting lineup, then the next game I'll probably go into the role that I was designated for because Ruan Urquia was meant to start. So then I'd go back to my bench role just until I can ease myself back in. So you'll either bench or you won't be part of it at all.
So my thoughts is whatever happens, Archie Snyman does not start. I've got Peter Steph du Toit going into that 5 jersey.
I was just about to say, I think maybe they might put Peter Steph du Toit there. And I'm hoping that England puts Moro Itoje at flank.
Why? They would never do that.
They will. They did it against us last year.
They won't do that because Moro Itoje and George Martin is a good combination. And then, obviously, they've got an issue with Tom Curry being out. So they might go Ben Curry there. Or they might go Tom Brandt there. Or they'll go... Because Sam Underhill, I don't think he's fit. They might actually put in Jack Willis's brother, apparently. Jack Willis is pretty good, but he's not his brother. Jack Willis's brother is pretty good, but he's not Jack Willis. Yeah, but I've got Peter Steph to tackle going into that 5 jersey.
I won't be surprised if I'm being honest. I won't be surprised at all.
But I'm more talking about a lineup that I also want to see now. To be fair,
yeah, that's what I'm also going for. But I think to play it safe and to have the right team chemistry, Peter Steph has to be on the 7 flank. I feel like just for the chemistry side of it and just for the continuity of the success that we've taken over the last, say, 6 years, Peter Steph has to be at flank against England. I feel like England, for some reason, feel like this is the game that they can win, although they lost to Australia. But then again, Australia, that was their best game I've seen them play in maybe 8 years, 9 years.
That was sensational.
They were very good. Clinical. Sorry, it's not the point of the video, but clinical, and they slowed it down and they played to their strengths. They didn't play like headless chickens like they did in the Rugby Championship. So I felt like England didn't necessarily play badly against Australia. Australia was just very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like England think they can beat the Springboks for some reason, but we do know
it's not the weather or whatever. But no, I'm not entertaining the thought of England beating us. But I am entertaining the thought of Pieter-Steph du Toit at 5, because it's not someone new that I'm going into the Lucies. I'm still going Siya Kolisi, that 6 jersey. Jasper Wiese still takes that 8 jersey, and Elrich Louw takes that 7 jersey for me. Because those guys can play together. They can play together. They know how to play together. It doesn't break the continuity.
I'm not opposed to that at all. I don't know if Elrich Louw is experienced enough to play against England at Twickenham. I just, it's not the feeling I get when I.
Good thing they're not playing at Twickenham, right?
Sorry?
Good thing they're not playing at Twickenham, right?
Man, you know what I mean.
England have not won a game since it's not been called Twickenham.
Allianz Stadium. Allianz
Stadium. No, you got it correct.
No. Okay, then let's go with your team. I'm not opposed to that at all. But I do think Kobus Reinach is starting at 9.
Okay, wait, just to quickly backtrack. So you got Ergie at 5, still, and then Pieter-Steph goes into 7, right? I'm very interested to hear
I said we're going for your team. That you said was Pieter-Steph at 5 with Elrich Louw.
Okay, because it's saucy. It is saucy, and I like it.
I do like that shout.
9-10 combo. Hey?
Pollard still plays, but Reinach starts as well.
Yeah, but Reinach is playing. I'm just not sure whether he starts or he's on the bench. I'm guessing he probably starts. Grant just never gets that shout to actually start the game. So I'll agree that Kobus starts, but I'm switching 10. Oh my word.
Pollard starts. Pollard starts. You need to kick every single kick over. Pollard starts.
You've got Pollard starting?
Like all 3 tests. No, I'm joking. Against Wales, Marnie might get a full 80 minutes there. But, I think.
No, because Pollard's not going to play against Wales. I think Jordan Hendricks gets a shout there with Marnie starting the game. I'm going Marnie. I want to see Marnie. I'll literally, this might be favoritism. I'm just going Marnie. Marnie, because people judge him on his kicking, but I think they forget that he's actually a rugby player, and he's a sensational rugby player. And I think with the backline that we have, with our strongest backline, we saw how it flew, how nicely it went against Argentina. We shouldn't be. I'm sorry, right? Like England, they'll probably pitch up to play against South Africa, but we should not be needing to kick every single kick to win this game. We are a lot better than.
I agree, and I don't think Marcus Smith plays as well as he did against the 2 other Southern Hemisphere teams. I feel like
he won't get that time on the ball. That's
what I was going to say. Our rush defense, and if he knows that Pieter-Steph du Toit is coming for him, I don't think he has enough time to create magic.
No, Brett, did you hear the stat? How many tackles they missed and line breaks the Aussies had? Now, obviously, the Aussie attack is very good, right? I'm not going to take anything away from the Aussies, right? But our attack can be very good as well. And we've got big, strong runners. We've got elusive backs as well. I'm sorry, but to play Pollard, in my opinion, as just a fan, would be a mistake, right? Bringing him off the bench if you need that cool, calm, collected brain to control the game, right? But at the start, go for it. Put them on the ropes. Marnie is that guy. He's built different. He knows how to run a backline. He knows how to put pressure on them. Can kick from both feet. I'm sorry. I would go Marnie. That is because I would want to see it. And then give him the kicking duties. If you don't want to give it to him, I'm not going to play Jaden NLC. You can give it to Cheslin Colby because you know it's not going to affect Cheslin Colby's game. That's basically it. But are you going Pollard, right?
Mm.
Okay. I'm so excited for your bench. Dial and the Krill. It's not
yes, but when I thought about this during the day today, I thought that Andre Esterhuizen had his best game in a box shirt ever.
He was my man of the match by a mile.
He was so good. He was my backline man of the match. I still felt Eben deserved his man of the match. But Andre Esterhuizen was so good. To drop him after that performance would just, I hope it doesn't get into his head. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be that.
They can save it and say, Damien, you've played a lot of games. You can have your rest, and then play Andre Esterhuizen maybe against Wales again. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that would be pretty good. Play Andre and Jesse actually together. I would like to see that. But I don't think they'll switch from Dialenda and Krill. Colby and Orense.
Yeah, correct.
Now, this is where my big changes come in, right? I've not changed from the lineup that I predicted on the other social media page. I've gone with Apelile Fassi, but there's a big change on my bench, right? Because I think we've got two game plans in this game, and that obviously gives away what I've done. But I'm going with Apelile Fassi to start. I think that's why they rested him against Scotland so that he can play this game, because I think Russie's like, okay, maybe he's the guy forward, him and Willemse, so he needs to play in games like this. So I'm going Apelile Fassi to be fullback. Remember, this is predicted, Brett, not what you want to see.
I know, but why would so this test makes it Willie Leroux's 99th test.
Exactly. It's not his 100th.
Yes, exactly. That's why I think he starts his 99th test and Fassi becomes the player 23 so that he can cover wing and wing and fullback.
I've literally got it. You see, Brett, because now, right? Okay, so you're going Veli to start. I'm going Fassi to start, right? Now, I'm in contemplation whether I go 6-2 or 5-3, because I know for a fact Veli's on the bench. If Fassi starts, Veli is involved in this game, 100%. I think we might have Pollard starting, right? If we go 6-2 with Vili on the bench, Vili might even replace Pollard as first receiver, and Jaden Anderson takes the kicking duties. And then all of a sudden, it's just all up in arms, right? Imagine that. Imagine Vili replaces Vili and Fassi on the same field with Vili being fly off. Imagine that. But I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that, will they? Will Russie do that?
I don't think they'll do that for the simple fact that it's England at home. I feel like something like that can happen could have happened last week against Scotland and could have happened next week against Wales. I don't think that I think a game like this is going to be very predictable. The only thing that we can't predict is who's going to be the fullback. Because I personally feel like Willie Leroux was instrumental. I mean, the cross kick he gave to Mapimpi without even Mapimpi being there. It's like you running to where I'm about to kick. Go. And it was, and that right-footed grubber kick that he gave, and oh my word, he was just Billy is just
No,
so good.
Villy is class. Villy is a serious player.
Yeah.
It's just too bad that not everyone can see it. Not everyone can give him his flowers or give him his credit. Um, but I've got Villy definitely as part of this game. I'm going 5-3 on my bench. I think we switch it up a bit. Obviously, I love the 6-2, but I just feel like because they are like Villy has to be involved, and I think they are going to go fussy. That's why he didn't play against Scotland. Um, I'm gonna go obviously Steenekamp, Malcolm Marx, and Vincent Koch. And then you agree, obviously. And then
Yes, I'm a bit concerned though because Vincent Koch can play both loose and tight head. I feel like he might be the loose head reserve with Volko Low being the tight head reserve.
no,
Um,
they won't do that for England.
they won't, but I won't be opposed to that because Vincent Koch started his career as a loose head. They converted into tight head, then he became the sensational tight head. Um, But I feel like there's a gap for Volkolo. Okay, maybe it might be against
Okay.
Wales.
Well, if they want to say that Steenekamp's spot is not secure, and they want to say, okay, well, Vincent can slot into the other side, and it's a battle between Steenekamp and Volkolo. Yeah, I can see what you're getting to. I've got Ergis Snyman, obviously on the bench. So then you have him as well because you went with my forwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then probably Kwacha as the fifth one because Alric's already starting. But I would have loved to have had it as Cameron Hanekom, but it's England, and I don't think they play him against England. So it'd probably be Kwacha that'll
They're
cover.
not gonna play. They're not gonna play if Hanekom does not play against England, even if it's on the bench, then Hanekom's not playing on tour
Why do you say that?
because Rasi said he's not that petty to make Hanekom play against the team that tried to steal Hanekom away, and that being Wales. Um, So I just feel like now he's going to live up to that, and Hanekom is here for tour experience.
I hate that. I hate
I,
that.
I agree, I agree, but that's just how I see it. So I feel like Hanekom's on the bench in this game. I think he's making his debut against
Oh,
England.
sensational. I'll back it. He's my fifth forward on the bench. I'll back it. I'll back it. Take it to the bank. Um, I don't necessarily agree, but I'll back it.
Yeah,
So no Kwacha. Well, you've got 6-2, or do you have 5-3?
6-2.
Okay, so you've got Kwacha as the extra man then for that 6-2. Okay, so I'm going without Kwacha then. You win this predictably because mine just feels so far fetched at the moment. Until I'm correct. Grant Williams on the bench for me as the 9 replacement. Which you obviously have as Kwacha. Then you have Grant as your one back. And then who's your other back on the bench? Fussy. And my three backs is Grant, Pollard, and Villy to totally switch up the game if need be. Like we did in the semi-final, 5-3, when it didn't go to plan, we pulled off Marnie, we pulled off what's it? We did Kobus Reinach and Damian Willemse for Villy, Pollard, and Faf. And I think we'll
Yes,
do the same.
yeah, you might be right, but I got our last prediction spot on, like team selection.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this one could happen, what I just said, but my initial on the other social feels a bit more accurate to this one. I think I entertained a bit of stuff when it came to this prediction. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's an exciting team.
Is who played 13 for England? Lawrence.
Yeah, him and Slade switched around.
Yeah, so Lawrence he seemed to like he'd limp off the field. Was he injured against Australia?
Not as far as I know. There was a lot of big hits and stuff in that. There was a couple of injuries. I know they are for certain without Tom Curry. who got bounced into another universe and then got knocked out. And then you have Fawa Boso also out, guaranteed for them. I wonder what they're going to do is...
Yes, it was Robosa that walked off. Sorry, not Lawrence.
Yeah. But the Ollie Slido that came on was sensational. He's good. He's a baller. Do you think we see George Fraud again? I hope so.
Yeah.
You still think?
Well,
I don't know how they still back this guy.
I think George Ford starts at 10 and Marcus Smith at 15.
Because Furbank's not been playing well.
Exactly. And I thought you handicapping Smith by putting him at fullback, and then he turned out to be just as good, if not better, at 15 the last 20 minutes of that game. Only problem that I have with him is he cost that last try by not manning up to his on defense.
That was his best game in an England jersey that I've seen. I've been very critical of the guy, but since going to the Six Nations, he's played a lot better. He's been very, very good. I disagree on that. I think Smith still starts. Ford will still be on the bench. At fullback, I don't have Furbank. I think they pluck out Freddie Stewart. For some high ball rubbish that they did in the World Cup. Apparently, it's gonna be cold again. It's gonna be raining again, which probably makes that Pollard will start. By the way, now that I think about it, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Freddie Stewart.
I hope they start with Dan Coles on tight head.
Well, he was good in the semi-final as well. Like him and Joe Marler, they did a job on us in that first half when it came to scrum time and stuff as well. So
yes, but let's be honest. He's gonna go up against a very hungry, not eating salad oxen chair, and he's gonna get smoked.
Yeah, because they didn't scrum against each other in the World Cup. Remember? Because they
exactly. Yeah.
Finn Baxter going up against Vincent Koch. That'll be exciting.
He's so good.
Yeah, but he hasn't really been that good so far in this Autumn Nations.
He's been average. He's been average, but mark my words, if we're still doing this in 10 years' time, we're going to talk about him as one of the best props in the world.
Yeah, he is class. Even the guy that I felt is like he's very average. Will Stewart, he's been okay at the scrum. What's more exciting about Mario Torje versus Etzebeth? That will always be a good one. If we play Peter Steff at 5, him and George Martin, that will be a scintillating battle.
Nobody comes close to Peter Steff. However, remember how I used to be a little bit of a fanboy of Ben Earl? Yeah. The fact that he celebrates like they won the World Cup when there's a knock-on, he's completely lost me. He's I've played against players in my whole life that are like that. That I'd just walk past the guy after scoring a hat-trick. Like, I've just scored my 3rd try in the first half, for example. And then the next ball I'd knock on. And the guy would celebrate like I've just cost them the whole game. Son, we're up by 40 points. And I just knocked for the first time in 7 games. What are you on about? And
it is very confusing because some people would say celebrate the small victories. But I mean, it doesn't help you celebrate the small victories, but you just don't get the win. Just don't.
Exactly. Like, let me say about the Irish game against the All Blacks with James Lowe. That 50-22 that he kicked, and then he turned to the crowd and started celebrating that 50-22. What would have made it super impressive for me is if he chased his own ball, and with the ball lying there on the side of the field with no one picking it up, he could have picked up the ball, had a quick line out because it's their ball, and actually won the game for them or got close to winning the game. But instead, he turned to the crowd and started celebrating like he just scored the World Cup winning try. That is low Rugby IQ, and it just sums up how I feel about James Lowe. He's not a smart rugby player.
Yeah. I mean, there's always these different perspectives on it. Like some people would say, it's getting the crowd riled up that brings momentum to the team or whatever, right? But I just think like I wasn't too fussed about that because I did think that kick was sensational. Like that was a great 22 that he kicked. But when it comes to like Ben Earl celebrating like technical scrum free kicks and stuff, it blows my mind. Like that is new level shithousery. I want to ask you a quick question before we wrap it up. I think like people spoke about this being like a massive upset victory. I didn't think it was a massive upset victory when Australia beat England. I called it from the start, the whole time. I said Australia's going to win this game, right?
Yeah,
You're calling it forever. Sorry?
You and I are the only two people that did call Australia to win.
Yeah, but I've been vocal about it, right? Because I don't believe that England are playing as well as people think. Just because they have close games doesn't mean they are playing well. Like they are losing the games that they should be winning. If you look, they got the drop goal victory over Ireland, right? But they lost to a French team that people were criticizing heavily in the Six Nations. The same French team that drew against Italy and should have lost against Scotland. They lost to Scotland, who also lost to Italy, right? They lost 3 times in a row to the All Blacks that everyone's been criticizing as not the same All Blacks team. I know the All Blacks pulled us close, right? But we still got victories, let's say more than a score at a certain point or whatever, right? We still got the victory over the All Blacks. We made it 4 in a row against the All Blacks, for instance. Now, I'm not trying to say that as cockiness, but you lost 3 times in a row to a team that people are criticizing. All Blacks are finding their feet now, though. They had a very shaky performance against who was it? Italy in the Six Nations. Very shaky performance against Wales. They've just not been good. They had a terrible World Cup. They had won. They got to the semi-final, but if they didn't get to the semi-final, I can't believe. Then I wouldn't have believed that they achieved anything.
Because they
lost to Fiji. Sorry?
They had an easy route to the semi-final. That's why.
And they lost to Fiji nearly twice. I don't know what people are seeing in this England team. That's why I'm not stressing about it, because it's like this team hasn't done anything. They've been under Borthwick forever. What do you say is the expectation for England? And like, how long does this guy still, because I don't want people to get sacked, but how long can this go on before they just say, gotta go? Because they had Felix Jones and they got rid of him to keep Borthwick. That is ridiculous to me.
I did read in the week, last week, that they're already looking for a replacement for Borthwick, and when his contract ends at the end of the year, he's not being renewed, and it looks like Michael Cheika is the next man in line.
I've also heard something like that. Do you think he is the right guy for the job?
I think he's the perfect guy for the job. I think that they need somebody with a bit of a backbone that's not going to try and copy Rassie in every move that he makes. Like, I feel like Borthwick has been trying to copy Rassie for the last 3 years, or last 2 years, and it's just not going to work out for him because Rassie didn't change the playbook. He just built better team chemistry and willingness to win. So Borthwick just can't understand it. Like, every time I see England play, I feel like, oh, wow, that's something South Africa did. That's something South Africa did. Oh, look, another South African move.
Imagine if they got rid of Borthwick and they didn't bring in Cheika, but they said, okay, Felix Jones, you've been wanting to be a head coach. How about you take the biggest role on ever?
Boom.
Like, show us what you actually wanted to do with the team. Imagine it.
Yeah, I'd back that. I'd back that. But I think Cheika is really the man for the job. I think he's hardcore. He's a grit out type of person. So, yeah.
But that's what they say Borthwick is behind the scenes as well, like stubbornness. And they just came off Eddie Jones, who's also crazy stubborn. I don't think Cheika's. obviously our opinion just differs. I think they need to change it up a bit. I think Cheika will bring the same kind of vibes as Borthwick. I mean, they literally both coached the Tigers as well. I think there's a lot of similarities in that one. I'd go something. I think they need something different. They need to say, listen, okay, screw the playbook. We're going something different. We're going to give someone an opportunity. We've got the talent. Let's get a talented coach who's been there. He's done it. He's won the World Cups. He's learned from the best. Felix Jones. That's my opinion.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Everyone, thank you for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe. We do appreciate you guys. Tell us what your predicted lineup is, and we will see you guys on Friday for our official predictions. Thank you.
Okay, bye.